The twin suns of Tatooine beat down, relentless and unyielding, upon the vast ochre expanse of the Jundland wastes. To most, it was a desolate, forgotten corner of the galaxy, a place where life clung precariously to existence. But to Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was a self-imposed prison, a crucible for his resolve, and a silent watchtower. From his humble dwelling, carved into the sandstone, his gaze often swept across the horizon, not seeking distant starships or encroaching Tusken raiders, but a small, familiar figure moving against the backdrop of the homesteads, young Luke Skywalker. Every day was a delicate balance. To protect the boy, the galaxy's last fragile hope, Obi-Wan had to remain unseen, a phantom in the desert. His existence was a secret, his presence a whisper on the wind. Yet, his vigilance was absolute, an invisible tether between the aging Jedi Master and the curious, adventurous child. He was a guardian angel whose wings were woven from the Force, never to be unfurled openly. And then, there was the day the invisible tether nearly snapped. It started like many other afternoons. Luke, a whirlwind of boundless energy and youthful curiosity, had wandered further than usual from the moisture farm. His small figure, a mere speck in the shimmering heat haze, was drawn by the allure of the unknown, an instinct as old as life itself. Obi-Wan, watching from a distant ridge through macro binoculars, felt a prickle of unease. Luke was heading towards territory best avoided, towards the distant rippling sands that marked the edge of the Great Dragon Ridge. He was heading, unknowingly, toward the Great Pit of Carkoon. The Sarlacc. The very name sent a chill down the spine, even of a Jedi Master. It was an ancient, malevolent being, rooted deep within the earth, its gaping maw a natural trap for the unwary. The sand around it was treacherous, ready to give way, to deliver any hapless creature into its slow, agonizing embrace. Obi-Wan's heart pounded with a rhythm he hadn't felt since the Clone Wars, a fear far more visceral than any blaster fire could inspire. Luke, oblivious to the immense danger, his childish fascination overpowering any instinct for caution, edged closer. Perhaps he saw the strange, shimmering effect of the superheated air above the pit, or heard a distant, guttural rumble carried on the wind. Whatever it was, it drew him in. Obi-Wan saw the boy's small hands reaching out, perhaps to touch the edge of the swirling sand, to peer into the unfathomable depths. One misstep, one shift of the ground, and it would be over. The galaxy's future swallowed whole, unseen and unheard. Panic, cold and sharp, threatened to grip Obi-Wan. Every fiber of his being screamed to rush forward, to shout a warning, to physically snatch the boy back. But that was impossible. To reveal himself now, to intervene openly, would be to compromise everything, to expose Luke to dangers far greater than the Sarlacc. Darth Vader, the Emperor, they would know. The delicate illusion of the orphan boy on Tatooine would shatter. In that agonizing fraction of a second, a solution, subtle and desperate, presented itself. Obi-Wan closed his eyes, focusing his will, not on a grand display of power, but on something small, precise. He reached out with the Force, not to push or pull, but to stir. With surgical precision, he began to manipulate the loose grains of sand directly around Luke, just enough to disturb the air, to create a sudden, localized disturbance. A sudden gust of wind whipped up. A tiny, swirling vortex of sand erupted around Luke, not powerful enough to harm him, but startling and disorienting. Luke cried out, startled, his small hands instinctively flying to cover his eyes as the gritty wind stung his exposed skin. It wasn't a true sandstorm, not by the desert standards, but to a small boy so close to the menacing pit, it was terrifying enough. Fear, cold and immediate, replaced curiosity. Luke scrambled back, stumbling away from the shifting sands, away from the unseen, unsettling force that had suddenly manifested. He didn't look back, didn't try to peer into the pit again. He simply ran, tears perhaps stinging his eyes, back towards the safety of home. Obi-Wan watched him go, a profound wave of relief washing over him, followed swiftly by the familiar ache of his solitary duty. Luke was safe for now. The Sarlacc had been cheated, and the secret of his guardianship remained intact. No one would ever know. Luke would likely recount the tale of a sudden freak gust of wind, a curious desert phenomenon. He would never connect it to the quiet figure watching from the ridge, a figure who had just, silently, saved his life. This small secret act of guardianship is a perfect example of the constant, unseen vigilance Obi-Wan Kenobi maintained over the boy. He was more than a hermit. He was a silent protector, a ghostly presence who kept the galaxy's future not just from the Empire, but from the everyday dangers of the desert, from the very curiosity that would one day Luke to his destiny. It was a life of quiet sacrifice, of constant unacknowledged burden, all for the hope that a new day would dawn, a new Jedi would rise. What other unsung acts of heroism do you think Obi-Wan performed during his long vigil on Tatooine? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of the Star Wars galaxy, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories from a galaxy far, far away. Until next time, may the Force be with you.